Welcome in. Welcome in. Hi, Adam. Adam's here first. I see Adam in the chat room first. It is the Rant with me, Pugs Moran, live from the Kelly Moore Memorial Studios in the beautiful E Gallery in Dallas's Design District. We do this every day. It's talk radio for normal Americans. Just give me a second here. I don't know why. Oh, I got shit. I got shit on my mind. Yeah. All right. You want to talk about things that bother normal Americans? All right. Let me tell you about this little shit. By the way, the studio, the Kelly Moore Memorial Studios here, they've been going through some changes over the past few months. You may have noticed. I'm not entirely happy with what we got going on here. I don't like my position with the camera. I think I need to be higher. I think if I may be up here, I don't know. Ugh. Let me tell you about my day yesterday. By the way, it should be noted, talk radio for normal Americans. Okay, blah, blah, blah. But also, before we get started, I want to remind out of the box, trash trivia tonight. I get there about 7 o'clock. We start about 7:30. Trash trivia. It's Dallas's premier trivia event every week. Tuesdays at the Back Nine in Addison. 4060 Beltline Road in Addison is where we do this. April, our returning champ, she's pledged to be there. And we know Bill. Bill's the champ from the first few weeks. He's going to be there as well. So the competition is getting better and better week to week. Come one, come all. Games start about 7:30. We're going to get ready 7. I'll be out there at 7. Get people signed up. Put the finishing touches on my handcrafted questions. Sorry, I got distracted by something here. Handcrafted questions that I spend weeks on. Actually, that's not true. I have ideas. I write little ideas for questions. And then on Monday nights is when I really go to town. So I wrote all my questions yesterday. Hold on. As you can tell, I'm busy doing something here. I'm a little distracted. All right. So we'll leave that up. If you can come out. We'd love to have you out there for trash trivia. It's fun. We got shut up.
Publicly, the White House is sticking.
With prizes, we got all kinds of things we give out. We give out gift certificates for food and stuff at the Back Nine. So you play your cards right. You can get your whole tab taken care of for free. Or next week, I'm not sure how it works. Oh, we've got gear. He brings out Sunbrew. Brandon, you know Brandon. Brandon's got all kinds of stuff to give away. He's got like month supplies of energy drinks as prizes. He's got gear from Fatal Clothing. My kid loves the Fatal Clothing. Hats. Last week, I think it was hats. Maybe this week's going to be shirts. I don't know, whatever. But prizes for everybody who comes out to 4060 Beltline Road tonight at 7 o'clock. Game start at 7:30. It's trash trivia every Tuesday night with us here, the Radio Misfits crew and Sunbrew. Okay, that's out of the way. I got to tell you about yesterday. So I told you yesterday that I was, oh, by the way, you can support this show anytime by dropping a little tip. That's how the show runs, on your tips, your gratuities. 3 years now, 4 years, actually, if you want to be truthful. We're coming up on 4 years, 3 years plus. We've been doing this every day, and your tips are how we're able to do it. So thank you so much. If you're so inclined, drop a little something in the Venmo or the Cash App. Now, let's talk about the Venmo. I told you yesterday about a little issue I was having with my Venmo card where it's about to expire. It's about to expire. And, you know, I do most of the show's business with the Venmo card. So the card's about to expire. So I'm like, oh, I see what's happened. Venmo has probably sent me a new card. Probably sent it a month ago or something. Venmo has probably sent me a new card. But it went to my old address because, yeah, that's on me. I didn't update my address. I just realized that now when I looked at the back of my Venmo card a couple of days ago and went, this is going to expire. Shouldn't I have a new card? So here's what I did. You got to backtrack. You got to start figuring stuff out. So I went over to the place where I used to live and I asked them, I said, hey, any chance you've received? And they're like, nope. Not entirely sure they're being honest with me. I think they just don't want to be bothered. I think they're concerned this could be an ongoing thing. And now they're like, nope, let's just tell him from the get-go he didn't get any mail. But whatever. They said no, nothing. So yesterday I start talking about it on the air. I wonder, hey, maybe it went to my address in Illinois. Maybe no, it didn't do that. Found out it didn't go there either. So I get into it yesterday after the show. I decided I'm gonna get into this Venmo thing. And how hard can this be? I'm just gonna change my address and I'm gonna reach out to Venmo. And I'm gonna let them know that they need to send me a new card and that I've only got like 9 days now. So they better send it. They better send it now. Guys, I spent the better part of 2 hours screaming at my laptop, screaming at my phone. There is no way to contact a human being. So Venmo's like, do you have an issue? Why don't you let one of our AI assistants handle your questions? The AI assistant we went around in circles. They're like, do you have a question about your renewed Venmo card? And I'm like, yes, I do. And then they list all of these questions. Which questions closest matches what your query is? And I'm like, none of them. None of this is not. And so then I start typing with the AI person. I need to speak to a human. And then the AI immediately comes back with, let's try this again. No, let's not try this again. So at this point, I'm banging on my computer. I'm like, you fucking motherfucker. You know, I'm like banging explicit. So then I find myself in like a Reddit thread about contacting Venmo. And they're like, there's a number on the back of your card. So I'm like, yeah, that's what I'll do. Obviously, if there are some pressing card concerns, the number to contact and to fix any issues would be on the back of the card. So I go to the back of the card and sure enough, there's a number there. Things are looking up. So I call that number. And it's all AI automated again. It's the same thing. It's just now it's a voice. I'm sorry. We seem to not be connecting. Hold, and I'll place you back at the main menu where you can hear your choices again. No! There's no way. So here's what I did. All I did was I just went on Venmo and I'm like, okay, I'm going to change my address. And I changed my address. But they have no way of knowing that they need to send a new card to that address. And there's no way for me to contact them. There's no way. The AI. Oh, God bless the AI. They're going to rule everything. But this fucking AI was an idiot. This AI had no clue. It is the worst experience having to do. Here's why. Because everybody at the top of the fucking Venmo food chain needs to have 3 yachts and 2 private jets. So they can't be paying human beings to actually do question and answers with their customers. Nah, they figured out a way to increase their profit margins by just eliminating all those people that they used to pay pennies to in India to answer. I would kill for someone in broken English to try and explain to me. I would kill for that. Remember how we used to complain about that? We used to complain, they all have accents. Yeah, because they're all in fucking Bangladesh, dude. That's why. Deal with it. At least it's a human. So I don't know. So I gave up. After like 2 hours yesterday, I gave up. I was just like, fuck this. I need to be done. Hold on. I do not like that I have to be. Why is this? There we go. Let's make this camera a little bit better. I think that's better. Fuck it. We don't need the full eagle. We need full pugs. That's what we need. Hi, Taronda. Hi, Barney. Hi, Mike. Hi, Leslie. Okay, the chat room's starting to fill up. These 2 o'clock shows do not do as good as the noon shows. We're gonna have to. The noon shows have increasingly better and more active audiences. So my idea of like poking around to see if there were bigger audiences in other day parts is not going well. It's not going well. It's habitual. This whole thing that I do here is habitual. You people have to be in the habit that I've created. If I'm doing this every day, you get used to being here when I'm here, which was noon for the first 3 years. Now we're changing that. Fucking TV, you know. So I muted the TV and the mute icon has been stuck on the damn TV for. It won't go away. I'll tell you something, you know, back in the early days of smart TVs, remember when you can go to like Target and you could get like a smart TV for like $100? Those TVs suck. Those TVs are not good. Those TVs have computers in them the size of a wristwatch from 1978. I can't, seriously, it will not, the volume indicator on the screen, you know, where like when you hit mute, it comes up for a second and goes away. It's not going away. It's been now for, I'm going to get past it. I'm going to be able to. It's been a hairy day. Hi, Chuckles. Chuckles Nelson in the chat room hanging out with us now. That's good. The more the merrier. I know I'm bald and I'm out of uniform. Look at me. Not doing the things I usually do. Because it. Sure, I'll skip another commercial. That's. fuck the whole TV. I'm just shutting the whole goddamn thing down because although it's probably not worth this level of distraction, the very idea that the mute thing won't go away off the TV is just driving me nuts. So I just had to crush the whole thing. We're done. We're moving on. All right. What else? What else do I got for you? I got a bunch of new shows I'm watching. I'm going to lay those on you too at some point today, maybe. Shows I haven't spoken of yet because, well, they got me trapped in the whole schedule TV thing. Schedule TV, you know, you got to watch it. We post a new episode every Friday at 9 or whatever. I thought we got away from that. Remember when we got away from that? Remember when we all switched over to platforms because Netflix allowed us to binge entire series? And then the new ones started coming up, and then they started going, yeah, we're not going to let you do that. We're going to make you wait just like it's 1985, and you're waiting to see what happens in the Dukes of Hazzard. That's barbaric. That's old-timey. Shoot an entire 10-episode season and fucking post them all at once and let us watch it. Freedom! That's what I want. Out of man television freedom. All right. Starting to sweat. Hi, April. She says, got some color on today, I see. Yeah, I had something going on. I had a lunch. And honestly, the black shirt that I wear, you want to know a secret about the black shirt that I wear? The black shirt that I wear, I only wear during the show. So I wash it once a week. And I didn't get to wash it this week. It's a little gamey. So I had a lunch before coming here today. I had to meet with some people. And I didn't want to wear a stinky shirt or a shirt that could be stinky because it can be stinky when I'm doing the show because I'm the only person here. So that's why I had to dress differently. Shut up, Adam. Adam's like, no, you're wrong. Once again, you're wrong in what you like. Just everything out of him is I'm wrong about what I like, and here's why I'm wrong, and he's going to tell you why you're wrong. All right, let's get started. What do we do here? We talk about the world. We talk about the world in a non-political way. I don't want to have anything to do with the red hats or the crazy people keying Teslas. You folks are gone and over the cliff. I can't deal with you. I do believe that there's about 70% of us left in this country. 70% of us who can do business and talk every day, and that's who this show is for. So, tell your friends, spread the word. If you're tired of all the bullshit, if you're tired of absolutely everything in this world being the fault of whoever the political opponent of the person talking is, then come join us every day around about noon. All right, the TV's back, and guess what? The volume thing is gone. It's $100 Target flat screen. It's You guys remember when I first started having flat screens and I started complaining about it? Well, it's because I was using inexpensive bottom entry-level flat screens. See this bitch behind me? This bitch behind me is a monster. That thing, no problem. You click a button and it does what you need it to do. This Hisense from Target, I'm still waiting for it to turn on. Remember 2 minutes ago when I turned it up? Yeah, it's still booting back up. It'll get there. We landed a man on the moon with the type of computer power that this TV has. Actually, far less. So I'm sure I can get to NBC News Now stream. Just clicking the button. There you go. Here's what happens when you try and navigate on one of these Target flat screens. When you try to navigate, you aim and you click. And it does stuff like that. You aim and you click and it doesn't do anything. So then you click again and then you get frustrated and you click 10 times. And then 20 seconds later, it moves 30 spaces. Tick, 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 tick. And you're like, oh, that's because I clicked it 20 times 10 minutes ago. Drives me nuts. Can you tell I'm trying to you are wrong here, but also that's not what I said. Oh, shut up, Adam. Of course. Thank you, Adam. Adam's always ready to tell you when you're wrong. That's how he's wired. That's why he's so fucking popular. Ugh. You're wrong. I'm not wrong. I'm not. How can I be fucking wrong when my entire fucking statement, Adam, is that I prefer binging? No, you're wrong, Pugs. You don't prefer binging. The fuck did you pull from my statement? My statement was I liked it when they were giving us entire seasons, and now they're not doing that. And Adam's like, no, you're wrong for being a... What the fuck, man? What the fuck? All right, we're good. Thank you, Adam. Adam got my juices flowing. All right, let's get started. It is April the 22nd. It is the 112th day of the year. That means there's 253 days remaining until the end of the year. We rolled this show out in 4 segments. The first one is a look back at history. The second is who's having a birthday. The third is who died. And the fourth is, we get into all the hot topics. That's the fourth, the hot topic. So we're going to start with our little history spin. We call it Antecedently on this day. It's where we take a look at some of the events that have occurred on this day. For what reason, I don't know. Just to get me loosened up and get me going. I got to tell you, man, this day sucks. This day sucks. As far as like world events, like nothing, like almost nothing. Like, you want to hear how we're going to start? On this day in 1836, the day after the Battle of San Jacinto. Like, that's it. Like, yesterday was the Battle of San Jacinto, a very big moment in the Texas Revolution. Today, just the day after. Yeah. 1836, the day after the Battle of San Jacinto, forces under General Sam Houston identify Mexican General Antonio Lopez de Santa Anna among the captives of the battle, when some of his fellow soldiers mistakenly give away his identity. So they all got captured, and like the big general was hiding inside. I don't know. I guess is that what you do? I mean, for the mythology, for the history, the mythology, you want the story to go, and I stood in full regalia as the general of my men, and I let them know that I was there, and I took my execution. You know, that's how the myth goes, right? But no, this guy was like, hide me. Let me put on a private uniform. Hide me. I don't know. Doesn't really work. On this day in the year 18... See what I mean? Look, this is another example. This is like a big thing that happened on this day. On this day in 1876, the first National League baseball game is played in Philadelphia. Who the fuck cares? On this day in 1954, during the Red Scare, witnesses begin testifying and live television coverage begins of the McCarthy hearings. I mean, that's a thing that happened, and we should talk about how that was allowed to happen, but it's not like a major news story. Antecedently on this day in 1977, see what I mean? Look at this. 1977, optical fiber is first used to carry telephone traffic. Okay, great. There you go. Some nerd history for you. Antecedently on this day in the year 2005, Japan's Prime Minister Junichiro Koizumi apologizes for Japan's war record. This is about the Chinese, the Japans. Think about this. How, for like centuries, the Japanese dominated China. They really did. This tiny little island dominated this massive. It would be like if for centuries Puerto Rico dominated the American mainland. I don't know. Anyway, they did some really bad stuff to the Chinese. Like before World War I, during World War I, and before World War II, and during World War II, they did some bad stuff. So it was on this day in 2005, Prime Minister Junichiro Koizumi apologizes for their war record. Good. Nice that you can say you're sorry. Antecedently on this day in 2016, the Paris Agreement is signed, an agreement to help fight global warming. Yeah. Like I said, not a whole lot of big earth-shattering news that have occurred on this day, so let's move on. All right, quarter 2, we call this birthdays. These are people having birthdays today. We decide whether or not we say happy birthday or do they suck. Go kick rocks, loser. They say it's their birthday. Here you go. Born on this day in the year 1899, Vladimir Nabokov. Lolita, he wrote, gets name-checked in a Police song. You know, Don't Stand So Close to Me. Popular song about a teacher who's banging his underage student. Yeah, that's what Don't Stand So Close to Me is about. He even references the book by Nabokov. He's like, you like that book by Nabokov? That's Lolita. He's talking about Lolita. Read between the lines, people. There was shit going on in that song. Antecedently on this day in the year 1904, J. Robert Oppenheimer. I am become death. And in 1967, he was right. He died in 67. 1904. Born on this day in 1923. All right, let's have a little fun with this one. This guy was born in 1923 right here in Dallas, Texas. Oh, he's an SMU grad. He's what? I don't know. People even know he's from Texas. People even know he's a Texan. I think most people just assume he is the quintessential Hollywood schmaltz machine. Aaron Spelling. Aaron Spelling, born on this day in 1923. Of course, he's dead. He died 21 years ago. It doesn't seem like he's been dead that long, but then again, I don't think I'm as old as I am, so that all checks out. Antecedently born on this day in 1923, Aaron Spelling. So what do I want to do with Aaron Spelling here? Because he does deserve, I'm a Gen X guy. He does deserve some kind of Gen X moment here. So let's do this. Let's do my favorite things that Aaron Spelling ever did. Aaron Spelling did some really dumb shit. I mean, he really leaned into, let's get a bunch of hot chicks. Let's make them not wear bras and have them jump up and down on trampolines. That was sort of his secret sauce, Aaron Spelling. Crazy, absurd concepts like Super Train. Super Train was cool. You guys remember Super Train? It was basically the Love Boat, but it was a train that like moved at the speed of sound or something from coast to coast, and it was filled with celebrities. Super Train. That was one of his failed shows. Aaron Spelling's probably got about 10 shows that you can name off the top of your head that are massive television historic shows. But he's probably got 60 that are like, yeah, that one didn't work. That one. So I wanted to do this. I wanted to do top 5 things that Aaron Spelling did that I like best. Okay? All right, now we're gonna start with his TV stuff, because what people don't remember is that Aaron Spelling made a lot of TV movies in the 70s and 80s. And if you were a kid, TV movies were, it's where you learned out. It's where you learned about the world. You weren't going to the theaters to see grown-up movies, but you could see grown-up themed movies, on made for TV. So I want to list some of those. But first, before we do number 5, the 5 favorite thing that he did, I'm going to list some of his shows. Some of the shows that I think were awesome and certainly foundational in my young Gen X life. Charlie's Angels, 90210, Love Boat, Fantasy Island, Vegas. Remember Dan Tana? Oh, man. That's still a life goal of mine. Dan Tana had a car that he could drive into his living room. And I'm like 7 years old watching Dan Tana drive his red convertible Thunderbird right into his living room. And I'm like, that's how a man lives. Now, as an adult, I understand that, especially with a classic car like that, there's going to be leakage and, you're going to not be able to do that on carpeting. It's going to ruin everything. My point is, Vegas was good. So was Starsky and Hutch from Aaron Spelling and TJ Hooker. All right, so those are the shows that I'm going to say that Aaron Spelling did that I actually like. All right, again, Charlie's Angels, 90210, Love Boat, Fantasy Island, Vegas, Starsky and Hutch, and TJ Hooker. All right, there's his TV shows. Everything else he did was garbage as far as episodic TV. Let's get into some movies, because he did some movies. For instance, number 4, the TV movie The Making of a Male Model. Aaron Spelling's 2-hour ABC event, The Making of a Male Model. Joan Collins plays this New York City model scout lady, runs a big famous agency, and she's on a shoot somewhere, and she sees farm boy John Eric Hexum. She's like, you got to come to New York. And does he get caught up in the world of being a male model. Now, even at, 10, 11, when I saw this movie, I didn't fancy myself as having any shot at being a male model. But, oh, boy. It was funny because here's what I remember. I remember all the male models were like super macho dudes who were just slaying other chick models. There was no gayness. There was no, which, I come to realize is pretty much the foundation of being a male model. They're all gay dudes. All right, number 2. Oh, by the way, John Eric Hexum. He was the star of it. Do you remember him? You know what happened to him a year later? He died. John Eric Hexum is the guy who was fucking around on set in total, Rust, Alec Baldwin, maybe even a little bit of Jason Lee from the, what is that called? The Crow, right? John Eric Hexum was playing Russian roulette with a prop gun, and he pointed it at his head, and it fired a prop plug, and it was close enough to his head that it went right through his brain and killed him. Number 4 in my favorite things that Aaron Spelling did, The Making of a Male Model. Number 3, another TV movie from Aaron Spelling. This one came from 1981. It was called The Best Little Girl in the World. This is the movie that taught me about bulimia and anorexia. The Best Little Girl in the World. It starred Jennifer Jason Leigh. This is 1981 Jennifer Jason Leigh. So she's like 15, 16 years old, and she's a ballet dancer, and her teacher says to her just offhandedly, "You're getting a little fat. You should lose weight." Oh, my God. This is where I learned about sticking your hand down your throat and how chicks were doing this. Best Little Girl in the World from Aaron Spelling, TV movie, 1981. All right. Now we're going to get into some weird stuff, okay? My number two favorite Aaron Spelling TV movie from the 1970s and 80s. In 1977, he made something that I can't believe. I mean, you just want to talk about how broken the people who were making decisions in 1977 were. This movie aired on ABC TV on Sunday night. It was called Little Ladies of the Night. Starred Linda Pearl as a 15-year-old prostitute in Los Angeles. And she gets turned out by a young Louis Gossett Jr., I think he plays. I'm not sure about that. Yeah. Best Little Girl in the World. Here, let me see. We'll show you some images of this. It was like, you can't do this. You can't put, first of all, Linda Pearl was a kid. She was like just 15, 16 years old. Here you go. Best Little Girl in the World. Yeah, let's see if we make that bigger. Yeah. There you go. Look at that. Best Little Girl in the World. I remember this. I remember watching girls just a couple of years old. Look at her. She was like a little kid. And yeah, that's David Soul. This was a made-for-TV movie starring David Soul from another Aaron Spelling project, Starsky and Hutch. There he is. David Soul and his little teenage prostitute. There she is. Best Little Girl in the World. Or no, I'm sorry. This is Little Ladies of the Night. Aaron Spelling, man. I'm telling you. He was always making it for the perverts. He knew that sex sells. And he's like, yeah, let's see if we can get every pedophile in America to tune into ABC. It's Sunday night at 7 or whenever the fuck that was. All right, that's going to do it. That's number two. Now I'm going to bring you to number one, the absolute best thing Aaron Spelling ever did. This is a movie that still resonates with me. I'd love to see it again. Haven't seen it in probably 30, 40 years. But yeah, it was Aaron Spelling who brought us all in 1976. A transformative and foundational movie for me. John Travolta in The Boy in the Plastic Bubble. Yeah. Come on, you all remember The Boy in the Plastic Bubble? I don't even, I don't think that's real. Okay, here, let's get to some facts here about, hold on. Yeah, let's see here. All right, look, so The Boy in the Plastic Bubble starred John Travolta, and it was the story of plastic. Yeah, okay. All right, let's. Yeah, we're going to look through some pictures here because I'm sorry, it still just makes me laugh. Okay, John Travolta played a kid who had some, I'm guessing we're going to call it an autoimmune disease, right? Where he couldn't be, germs. Germs were his enemy. So he lived inside his house, inside like a bubble, like inside a plastic bubble. And, well, of course, Seinfeld, the Bubble Boy episode, they had fun with this. But he lived inside this plastic bubble, but he decided he wanted to go out because he became a teenager and he got horny and he wanted to start seeing chicks and stuff. So John Travolta created this like bubble suit and he went out and it was the wildest thing, man. I'm like 7. Look, there he is. There he is in his plastic bubble. Everybody's, whoa, Mr. Kate. John Travolta. There it is. Oh, love story. The Boy in the Plastic Bubble. It's one of the greatest films ever made. I'm sorry. It just is. Leanne Brady Miller says it was based on a kid in Houston. Was it? Yeah. That's not real, though. Like, the kid in Houston didn't go out, right? The kid in Houston did. I remember this was at a time in my life where, like, killer bees were, like, really high on my list of things I needed to look out for. Like, in the 1970s, they were really pushing the Mexican killer bees on us. And I remember in killer bee movies, they would put on, like, those plastic bubble dude suits. I don't know. That's just a random association I just had. Killer bees and The Boy in the Plastic Bubble. All right, let's keep going. Let's see here. Aaron Spelling, born on this day in 1923. Born on this day and also celebrating a birthday today. Glenn Campbell, 1936. Glenn Campbell. Well, there's a documentary about Glenn Campbell that was made a couple of years ago before he died that is just really good. I don't remember what it's called, but it's good. Just Google search Glenn Campbell doc. It's so interesting. Glenn Campbell was a fascinating guy. All right, Glenn Campbell, born on this day in 1936. He's gone now. Born on this day in 1937, Jack Nicholson. Oh, yeah. We're doing a Jack draft. All right, this is not necessarily the best movies that Jack Nicholson has ever done, although it kind of is now that I'm looking at it. But it is a rundown, a draft, NFL style. First one is going to be the number 1 overall pick, and we'll do 5 rounds. These are the best characters that Jack Nicholson, he's a character actor, but he's a leading man. He's like a weird hybrid. Gene Hackman was also kind of like that, a character actor who was also a leading man. Jack Nicholson's top characters from his career. Number 1, first off the board, not even going to think about this too much. Cuckoo's Nest, R.P. McMurtry. That's right. One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. The number 1 off the board for Jack Nicholson, best characters. Number 2, how about Jack Torrance, The Shining? Yeah, here's Johnny. Number 3, a movie that I don't know that a lot of people saw, but man, this was a good movie and an interesting movie. And boy, was he great, Jack Nicholson. Number 3 off the board, Hoffa from 1992. Jack Nicholson plays Jimmy Hoffa. Number 4 in the best characters that Jack Nicholson has ever played. How about Frank Costello in The Departed? Frank Costello in The Departed. And last pick, the last pick, just because this is such a great role and he plays it so confusedly, I'll say. I don't know if you've seen it. Maybe you know what I mean. Number 5 off the board, best characters Jack Nicholson has ever played. JJ or Jake from Chinatown. It's all about Chinatown. All right, that's it. That's your Jack Nicholson draft on his birthday. My favorite characters that Jack Nicholson has played in film. Cuckoo's Nest, R.P. McMurtry. The Shining, Jack Torrance. Hoffa, Jimmy Hoffa. The Departed, Frank Costello. And Chinatown, Jake. Born on this day in 1946. Here's a guy I'm not going to spend a lot of time on because I just don't get him and I find him really creepy and I just don't like anything that he's done. And I know that there's a lot of weird theory people who are like, he's a genius. And I'm like, no, he's really not. He's just doing the weirdest shit possible to get a reaction. And you are processing the reaction as some kind of important art statement. No, he's weird. He makes weird movies for even weirder people, and he's celebrating a birthday. Born on this day in 1946, John Waters. John Waters. He's so weird. He makes movies for weird people, and you know, he figured it out. He knows his demo. Born on this day in 1946. Born on this day in 1952, Marilyn Chambers. Marilyn Chambers. Here's what I'm wondering about Marilyn Chambers. Is Marilyn Chambers a porn star? Or is she just like, or was she just like in like Showtime After Dark movies? You know what I mean? Like here's Marilyn Chambers. Like, I don't know what her deal is. Like, was she in actual like full penetration porn? Or do we just know her because she played in slutty softcore porn movies on like Showtime in the 80s? I don't know. There she is. She looks like Sybil Shepherd. Is that Sybil Shepherd? Hold on. We need to make this. Is that? No, it says that's Marilyn Chambers. Holy crap. I am just now realizing that Marilyn Chambers and the appeal of Marilyn Chambers may have been that she looked like Sybil Shepherd. Not there, of course. Not even there. Right there. What is going on with that? Okay, never mind. Happy birthday, Marilyn Chambers. I don't know what your deal is. I was never really all that wowed by you, but were you a porn star? I'm not sure. Or were you just like a Shannon Tweed? Like, there are girls who weren't actually porn stars, who we just kind of think were porn stars. Like, Shannon Tweed was not a porn star. She just did a whole bunch of sexy, movies and stuff like that. Was that Marilyn Chambers, or was Marilyn Chambers actually a porn star? Doesn't matter. We're going to move on. We're going to move on because we got another birthday here, another birthday boy. This guy's so cool. I like this guy. He's got a weird name. His name shouldn't be, like, every time I see him, like, I hear the name and then I see the face. I go, oh, yeah, that's who that guy is. He doesn't seem like he matches his name, but okay. Jeffrey Dean Morgan. He's a pretty cool actor. He's Negan, right? I think that's where he became super famous. Negan from Walking Dead. Jeffrey Dean Morgan. He just doesn't look like a Jeffrey Dean Morgan. Jeffrey Dean Morgan seems like a much older man, a frailer man. He plays bookkeepers and accountants. That's Jeffrey Dean. This guy's a badass. He doesn't look like no Jeffrey Dean. Look at that. That ain't no Jeffrey Dean. That's a Clint. That's a Clint Morgan. Certainly not a three named guy. All right, let's keep going. Birthdays. Jeffrey Dean Morgan is celebrating a birthday. Who else has a birthday today? Let's get through this. Come on. This is nothing. Oh, Amber Heard. Poop girl. Still would. Just want you to know. I sat there. I watched that entire trial. The Amber Heard Johnny Depp trial. Watched the whole thing. Heard all the details. Even read a bunch of follow-up. Even saw a bunch of documentaries about it. I'm here to tell you, I still would. She's really pretty. I'll never forget this one outfit that she wore to court. It was all white, and it was done on purpose. She was trying to look angelic and clean and, just like all of it. And it just really worked on me. She was wearing like a white suit from top to bottom, and she just looked so good sitting there. I'm like, she could poop on my bed anytime. No problems here. I clean that up, especially if, I got a maid or something. That's not a problem for me. Oh, Amber, I see you pooped on the bed again. You're so cute. All right. And born on this day in 1986, Amber Heard. Also born on this day in 1986, Marshawn, Beast Mode, Lynch. All right. Let's do some deads. Only one guy died today. That's it. We're only doing one dead. Richard Nixon, and he was a president, and he goes to hell, so we're not going to waste any time on that because all presidents, except for Lincoln and probably FDR, go to hell. All politicians. All right, one more time, I do want to remind you, as we move here now into segment 4. Okay, we'll get rid of that. Trash trivia. That's right. I want to remind you, trash trivia tonight. Trash trivia tonight. I see Cece in the chat room, the sports bros and all that. We were supposed to record. We were going to record Thursday like we did last week. We recorded a little thing on Thursday. And I'm like, yeah, let's record on Thursday. But Thursday's the draft. And I don't want to record during the draft. Oh, I mean, I want to watch the draft, So anyway, I see CC there. All right, I'm going to get back to you. We'll figure out a day this week. We will record this week because I had fun, and I think we all had fun. Adam Rayner says Jimmy Carter goes to heaven. True. That's a good case. He's making a good case there. Jimmy Carter absolutely goes to heaven. You know what? Yeah. Good case. Very good case. So I do have 3 American presidents who go to heaven. 4 who go to heaven without question. George Washington, just cuz. Fuck you if you disagree. George Washington goes to heaven. Abraham Lincoln goes to heaven. Franklin Delano Roosevelt goes to heaven. And Jimmy Carter. He was a good man. He did really good stuff after being president. Didn't just go around collecting speaking fees. Like actually fucking did shit. All right. Very good point, Adam. I don't hate you anymore. All right, let's see. What do we have here? Let's go. Okay. All right. Let's get into all the hot topics in the news. I do want to invite all of you to come out to Trash Trivia with me tonight, okay? All right, there you go. Once again, you can support this show. Venmo, Cash App. Get it into Venmo now before the month ends because my Venmo account will still be fine. You will have to make no changes. I'm just saying my card is going to die at the end of the month. And unless I can figure out a way to contact them and let them know of these important changes in my life, about new address and stuff, I think that card's going to be down. All right, so let's do this. Let's talk about all the things that are happening in the world. Let me pull this up because our big story is going to be the same big story that it's been since, whenever. The stock market. Okay, it's booming. The stock market is booming, people. We're back. What did I tell you yesterday? Watch the cumulative. Don't get all bent out of shape about shit falling. Yesterday, I think the close was 1,200. 1,200 down. Well, here we go. We've got 15, 16, 17, 18 minutes. We got 18 minutes until the close of the New York Stock Exchange, and we are up 877 points. See? We're green. 877 after being red 1,200 yesterday at close. We are green, 877. It would take a massive bottom fall to not end up in the positive today. Now, I know what you're saying. You're like, Pugs, but if we were down 1,200 and it's only 800, that's a difference of, 400, and that's still a negative. Oh, stop it. We're back up to 39,000. We're like a tit hair away from 40. Okay, just relax. The market is doing fine. Although this chaos has to stop. Like this. Like, this chaos has to stop. Like, if tomorrow, if it's down another 1,000, come on. Anyway, there you go. Stock market. None of you fucks should be getting any stock information from me. I'm just a news observer. I'm just watching this. All right. Here's another story I was going to do yesterday, but I wanted to keep it light yesterday. I was doing a whole bunch of other things, and quite frankly, I didn't know how big of a story this was, but now here we are 24 hours later, and it is a story that is getting some traction. I saw it nationally and last night, and then I saw it this morning nationally. It's the story coming out of Louisville, the stabbing of that Denton County commissioner. I don't know if you guys, well, I'm sure that you've probably seen it, especially if you live here in North Texas. It's kind of the big news story. Bobby Mitchell, right? Is that her name? I want to make sure I get all of this right. Bobby Mitchell, she was a Denton County commissioner. She's apparently a bigwig up there in Louisville. She's former mayor of Louisville, who stepped down as mayor to become a county commissioner. Denton County commissioner stabbed in the heart with steak knife by grandson. Her and her husband were attacked in their Louisville home by their 23-year-old grandson, who murdered grandpa, murdered him. He died. Here's what we know. Denton County Commissioner Bobby Mitchell and her husband, Fred Mitchell, were stabbed early Monday morning. It's Easter. Commissioner Mitchell is recovering in the hospital. Her husband died from his injuries. The couple's grandson has been arrested and charged with murder, aggravated assault, and aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. What do we know? The arrest warrant for 23-year-old Mitchell Blake Reinecker reveals details about early Monday morning when his grandmother and grandfather were stabbed in Louisville. Denton County Commissioner Bobby Mitchell and her husband, Fred, were both stabbed. Fred Mitchell did not survive his injuries. So here's what happened. So somebody, and I'm not sure if somebody else was inside the house, another family member, but this kid, this 23-year-old kid, early in the morning on Monday, pulls up to the house in front of in Louisville, pulls up to the house. The car is left running with the driver's side door wide open to the street. So it's in front of the house, pulls up, it's running, door is open. Kid comes out of the house, 23-year-old. By the way, this is a house he was supposedly staying at. He runs out of his car, runs into the house, begins to attack his grandmother and grandfather with steak knives from the kitchen. This is where somebody, and I'm not sure if it was somebody else inside the house or a neighbor, heard the screams and heard the commotion and called 911. Police, Louisville police, arrived on the scene while the kid was still in the house stabbing people. Cop observed that the car was parked in a way that suggested that the kid planned on being in and out. He wasn't going to stick around long. Cop walks into the place, pulls his weapon, sees this 23-year-old kid standing over his dead grandpa, looks in the other room and sees the grandma, the county commissioner, Bobby Mitchell, bleeding out. And the kid gives up. The kid's like, okay. And the kid handcuffs. It says that when the patrol officer arrived, they saw a white four-door vehicle parked in the street in the front of the home. The driver's side door was still open and the headlights were on. The officer could hear screaming coming from inside the home. The officer went in through the open door and saw Reinecker. This is the dude who did it, Reinecker, the grandson. Reinecker standing in the hallway over the body of Fred Mitchell. The officer notes that Mitchell was bleeding severely from knife wounds to his chest. This is when the officer put Reinecker in handcuffs. That's it. That's like, I mean, I'm glad. So we don't have a motive. We don't know what's going on. Bobby Mitchell, Reinecker's grandmother, was found inside with a knife wound. She told police her grandson broke into the home, said that he was going to kill them. She said that he then went to the kitchen and got a knife and then returned to their bedroom and began stabbing both her and her husband. During the search of the home, the arrest affidavit states investigators found the knife. Okay, whatever. Good Lord. The affidavit says that Reinecker had been living with the Mitchells since late 2024. So the grandson had only been living there since, say Christmas time. Because of how he parked and left his vehicle, it was an indication that Reinecker did not plan on staying after he went home, but more indicative of someone planning for an immediate getaway. All right. Mitchell Reinecker. All right, let's get a look at this guy. Here he is. This is the grandson who, boom, there he is, 23-year-old grandson. Hey, I got a question for you because I just realized this. See what he's wearing? Like, I've been seeing a lot of this lately, and I'm like, why does everybody who get arrested, why is everybody being arrested in white hoodies? But now I understand. That's like something they make you smock, like around your neck. Okay. See, I'm not completely stupid. All right, that's a terrible story coming out of here. How about this one? There was another plane incident in Orlando yesterday. Did you see this? I guess a plane caught on fire. They had to evacuate 300 people. 300 people were on this plane. Let's take a look at this. Here's the video. We got some video. I know we're all supposed to be, oh no, it's a Delta. Look at that shit. Yeah, that don't look good. I know we're supposed to be freaked out. Why is this happening now? Well, I don't know that this is happening more now or we're just seeing it because, I don't know. It looks bad, but it didn't take off. No problem. Nothing to see here, folks. Move on. They caught it in time. The system works. All right. I don't know. I'm just not going to be one of these pearl clutchers who thinks that, like, plane is just not safe anymore because of Trump. Okay, let's keep going. What else do we have? Oh, the Hegseth stuff is kind of interesting. Apparently, he's doing more stuff on Signal. This time, he's involving his wife, brother-in-law, drinking buddies. I don't know. What is he sharing? Is he just on Signal? Is he just using Signal and this is just his normal private conversations with people in his life? Or is he like, hey, check out what we're going to do tonight? I don't know. But here's what I do know. He is quite the handy distraction. I am telling you, all of these people who are saying they're going to fire Hegseth, they're going to fire Hegseth. No, they're not. No, they're not. Trump loves this. This is the big story that they don't want anybody talking about is what's going on with the financial markets. The global and domestic financial markets are chaos. And that's the thing that's really going to turn people against him. He doesn't want that to be the story. So he's completely fine with Hegseth and them drawing up another story. We found more signals. He's not going to fire him because the longer he goes, it's going to be a story. So let him do it. It's a distraction. It's a master. The Trump administration, they are masters at playing the media. They know exactly how to get the media off the scent of something that is real and just to follow something stupid, something dumb. Hegseth ain't going anywhere. He should. It seems like he should, but he ain't because that's what these people do. That is the magic of the first 4 years of Trump, something that I learned. One of the only things that really I feel has made my life better that I learned from that man. And that is when somebody accuses you of something and you don't feel like taking the blame for it, just deny you did it. And no matter what they put in front of you, just keep denying it. Just no. Yeah, that's pretty good evidence. Fake news. That evidence is fake. Everything they provide, just that's the kind of operating, procedure that I would have thought absurd 10 years ago. Guess what Trump proved? Trump and these guys proved that we, the consumers of these scandals, we don't care. We'll move on. We don't need resolution. We don't need there to be a guy who falls on his sword, the way the Dems always played it in scandals. We must give them closure. Fuck the closure. These fucking idiots, they're going to move on to the next scandal in 10 days anyway. The Trump people just say, fuck you, move on. Fuck you. I'm not doing what you want. Fuck you. And then guess what we all do? We go, all right, what else? What else can we be distracted by? So that's what Hegseth is now. Hegseth is the media distraction that the media is just playing along with. Again, he should be gone. He shouldn't be there in the first place. I said that from go. This fucking guy is a TV male model. He's not at all qualified for this. I know you think, what do you mean? I heard him on Michael Savage once or whatever, and he was really smart about stuff. Fuck you. He's a TV. He's a performer guy. He's a pretty guy. He's a drunk. Shouldn't be there. But he's there. And we got him. He ain't going anywhere because he's a great distraction for all this other stuff. All right, that's my take on the whole Hegseth thing. Now let's move to concerns more local, shall we? Nico spoke yesterday. We all know Nico Harrison. Oh, my God. Nico, how is this guy still employed? I don't get it. Nico Harrison is, the guy who traded Luka, the Dallas Mavericks, what is his official title? He's general manager, president of basketball operators, something like that. So Nico Harrison, of course, his whole big master plan, he thought he was going to outsmart the league a couple of months ago when he traded Luka Doncic to the Lakers for Anthony Davis and a bag of beans. he thought he was going to outsmart the league. Remember, he was like, "No, this is the team that can make a deep run in the playoff." Right? That was his whole thing. And then everybody got hurt, and then it was like, "Oh boy, this team is terrible." So they're gone. They're gone. And season-ending press conference, Nico came out, and he faced the press, and it wasn't good. There was no way it was gonna be good. The only way that Nico's press conference yesterday would have been good in the eyes of us Mavericks fans, the only way it would have been good is if he used that opportunity to resign, to say, look, it didn't work. I took a big gamble. Maybe if he was a little bit more of a Democrat, he would fall on his sword and he'd go, "I am so sorry to the Dallas Mavericks fans." But no, he's going to ride this fucking shit out. He's going to ride it out. Going to get that big job at Nike. He even name checked Nike at some point. Like it's like he said, so, well, it's one of the great things that I learned about being a top-notch management when I was working at Nike. Nike really trains you for, it was like that shit. I'm like, you're going back to Nike, motherfucker. That's what you're doing. You're just setting up your golden parachute with the Mavs when they have to fire you. And they don't want to because you're one of them. The Dumont, you're like his boy. He doesn't want to cut you loose, but it's, him or you at this point, and I think he's going to cut you loose at some point. And then Nico will end up back in Nike land. Hell, he may probably give him a job with the Lakers. No, I can't imagine that Luka would want to work with him. So anyway, Nico met the press, and he had some things to say, and let's listen to some of the more interesting observations. Here's Nico on the question of, should you be fired? Should you, after the horse you did, after trading like the most popular player this town has known since Dirk, should you be fired? All right, here's Nico.
Why shouldn't you be fired?
Well, one, I think I've done a really good job here, and I don't think I can be judged by the injuries this year. You have to judge from totality, from beginning to end, and so I think I have a really good working relationship with Patrick.
Uh-huh.
I think you add in Rick. The leadership that we have is really elite, and you'll see next year when our team comes back, we're going to be competing.
Oh, how exciting. How exciting. He thinks he's done a really good job here, and he can't control, the injuries, but you can control who you traded for Anthony Davis, okay? So we got to factor that in as well, Nico. I'm going to push back a little. No, sir, you did not do a pretty good job here. You took a huge roll of the dice based on what I assume was your best judgment, and your best judgment was garbage. It was terrible. It was a terrible idea. All right, there he is. Should you be fired? The question of, were you instructed? Thought this was another interesting one. Were you instructed by anybody? And of course, by anybody, we're talking about Patrick Dumont. Nico, were you instructed by anybody to make this trade? Because, and by the way, this is now the time, like if he thinks he's gone, no matter what, now is the time for him to go, well, yeah, this was a team decision, me and Patrick. But no, that's why I thought this was interesting. Anyway, here you go. The question, did Patrick have any influence, or was this to trade Nico or to trade Luka all your idea? Nico Harrison, end of season presser.
There have been a million theories about why you did the deal. One of them was that you were told to do it, that Mr. Dumont said, I didn't want to give the Supermax contract, which is obviously very expensive, to Luka. Were you told that you had to trade him?
No, not at all. Patrick reminds me of the leadership that I had at Nike, and a really good leader doesn't tell the people that work for them what to do. It's a collective, well thought out process to make a big move like that. And then also, unfortunately, I'm super stubborn, so someone telling me to do.
He's so cute. Look at him. He's wryly smiling. And also, I'm super stubborn. My mommy always says that who the fuck does this guy think he is? Trying to be coy and trying to be cute in this moment. This just plays so badly. This guy is so self-unaware. He needs
something doesn't work too well for me.
There have been a million theories about why.
All right, there you have it. All right, he doesn't. He's no, I wasn't instructed, but just like at Nike, great leadership understands what it is. We're of one mind. And okay, whatever, dude. Whatever. And then there was this one. This is the last one we're going to play here. This was on the question of, the blowback after firing Nico, pretty big, pretty scary, pretty huge. Did you have any idea that people liked Nico or Luka as much as they do? Did you have any idea before you traded him that people were going to be this fucking angry at you? All right, here you go.
That Luka was important to I did know that Luka was important to the fan base. I didn't quite know it to what level, but really the way we looked at it is, you know, if you're putting a team on the floor that's Kyrie, Clay, PJ, Anthony Davis, and Lively, we feel that's a championship caliber team, and we would have been winning at a high level, and that would have.
Sure, yeah, but that didn't work out. That did not work out there. I'm so sorry, Nico. I guess the question is, he needs to stop that. He's not good at that. He doesn't come across well. He comes across like a scared child. And that is not what you want for the leader of your franchise, especially heading into an off season where what is this team? This team for years was built around Luka. We had that, and I don't even know what this team. Does he make it? Does he survive the summer? That's the question. Does he survive the summer? I gotta go back to my eagle. My eagle. You know I love my eagle. Okay, cool. Fine. What is this? Old Spice Gentleman Super Hydrate? Sure. Whatever. There we go. All right, the Eagle's back. Very good. All right, let's keep going here. What else do we have? Stars. All right, why not? We'll talk about the Stars last night. Stars had a big win, evened up the series here. Double overtime, thriller down there in Victory Plaza. Let's take a look at it. The Stars, they go 1-1, tied up now. Hold on, let me get this up here. Evening the series.
Then he's on it again. The Avs, Blackwell against Johnson. Blackwell shoots. Save made. Then he's on it again. He scores! He scores! Colin Blackwell wins it! The series is tied!
All right, good time. Good time. See, there you go. We don't have to just be upset about the Mavericks. We've got something good brewing with the Stars. Ready to jump on that bandwagon. Just pull it up in front of my house, slow it down. Respect my age. I'm not going to be able to jump on a speeding bandwagon, but if you pull up, you know, I will jump on. It's time. It's time now. And by the way, all you Stars fans. Oh, what, you just going to be a bandwagon Star fan? Yeah. And you better fucking make room, because let me tell you something. Hockey is a dying fucking sport. You better stop being Mr. I liked hockey before you. Yeah, you and 15 other losers. That's why your sport is dying. If I want to be a bandwagon Stars fan, you better make room. You better dust off. You better place a seat cushion on that bandwagon. Let me tell you, I will jump off, but you need me. You need to grow this sport. Baseball fans, you too. You baseball fans. Although I've been a pretty good Ranger fan for a number of years now. I'm not a bandwagon Ranger fan. I actually like the Rangers and have for about 20-something years now. So. But yeah, the Stars, I'll jump on that Stars bandwagon. Let's go. Couldn't name one. Couldn't name one Stars, but as of 3:01 on the 22nd day of April. I could not. Blackwell, that guy from the clip, right? Or is his name Blackwood? I don't even know. Can't name one player. Can't name one player on the Stars. But I'll tell you what, if I jump on this bandwagon, all I will need is 2 or 3 days. 2 or 3 days, and I will be able to speak in a manner about the current Dallas Stars that is akin to any other idiot doing sports radio in this town. 2 days. That's it. Just let me cram. Give me a weekend. I'll come back. I'll be Johnny Dallas Stars. But as of right now, I couldn't name one player. All right. You want me. You want me on your bandwagon, you folks. You know it. All right. Let's see what else. Shannon Sharp. Here's a fun Shannon Sharp story. It's always fun. Shannon Sharp, man, he is a swordsman of like, I didn't think Shannon Sharp was a swordsman. You know, when I think of the great swordsman, you think of Derek Jeter, think of Wilt Chamberlain, think of Hugh Hefner, you think of Charlie Sheen, you think of the great swordsman. I didn't think it was Shannon Sharp, but we're starting to put together a nice little pattern here for Shannon Sharp, and it seems like this dude is just a sex machine. Remember a couple of months back when Shannon Sharp accidentally live streamed his Afternoon Delight? Remember, he hooked up with some chick and he accidentally live streamed it because, I don't know, the phone was on or something. And that was wild. And we're all like, And then didn't we hear some stuff, some like Joy Taylor stuff that overlapped with some Shannon Sharp stuff. Anyway, lots of sexy business going on with Shannon Sharp. Comes news yesterday that he's sometimes doesn't wait to ask for an okay from his ladies. He's being accused of rape. Let's get into this story. Shannon Sharp. And again, rape is a terrible word. Rape is a terrible word. Because when we hear that word, we conjure up the absolute worst situation. At least I do. When I rape, a rapist, to me is somebody who breaks into single women's apartments in the middle of the night with a ski mask, holds a knife to their throat, and then rapes them. A rapist to me, right? When I think of the horrors of what rape is, and rape is horrible, forcing someone to sexually engage with you against their will, is terrible. But again, there are boxes. I believe that the guy who breaks into the apartment in the ski mask with the butcher knife and holds it to the nurse's neck and says, "Have sex," or "I'm going to have sex with you now." I do believe that guy is worse than the frat guy who doesn't hear no and pushes. I'm sorry. I know that's a very provocative thing to say, drawing these differences. I think it's different. Okay. I think they're all terrible. Okay. But they are different. So what Shannon Sharp is being accused of, although, the headlines are screaming Shannon Sharp accused of rape, what he's been accused of is more of like date rape, which is more of like, you have an existing relationship with this person. You've had, what do they call it? Consensual. I was calling it compliant sex. Well, if you involve HR, I guess that might be compliant sex. No, consensual sex, but then, some guys are assholes. And you know what? I would bet that in a personal romantic relationship, I would bet Shannon Sharp is a bit of a caveman. I bet he's a bit of a... So let's get into this story, okay? Shannon Sharp is not running around hiding in the shadows with a butcher knife, but he is kind of a sex creep. So let's find out what the charges are. ESPN Shannon Sharp is accused of raping a woman multiple times in lawsuits. Or in a lawsuit. The alleged victim is seeking $50 million. Well, with all due respect, Shannon Sharp ain't got $50 million. That's a little bit much. A woman has sued Shannon Sharp for $50 million after alleging that the former NFL star has raped her multiple times since the end of 2024. This is another indication that this is a little different than the guy who breaks into the apartment with the ski mask and all that. This woman says she was raped multiple times by him. Multiple times. All right. Lawsuit was obtained and reported first by TMZ. In it, the unnamed woman claimed that she met Sharp, who signed a multi-year deal with ESPN last June, regularly at a gym in Los Angeles. All right. So she was hooking up with him at a gym. He goes to the gym. She's a hot chick at the gym. He's Shannon Sharp. They start hooking up, right? All right, so this goes back to 2023. She added that Sharp joked that he would, quote, buy her fake tits during their first interaction. And yet you continued to see him. And yet your very first interaction, he said something that was so offensive to you that you're going to use in a lawsuit 3 years later. But it was the first thing he said. It was so horrible. And you continued the relationship. Okay. All right. She claimed that she met Sharp at a gym in LA and that he joked that he'd buy her tits. He wasn't joking. He was telling you that you'd be hotter with bigger boobs. That's what a lot of these completely entitled, super confident dudes do. They, especially when they have money, they will approach a hot girl and go, "I'll make you hotter by giving you tits, and then you'll have sex with me." That's the deal. And you'd be surprised how many of you women are down for that deal. You would be shocked. The men that I know that have purchased multiple breast implants for women. Oh, but it's all the men. The men are the shit, right? Men are bad. I'm just saying. For men to be truly as bad as man can be, they need a little help from certain women. Sometimes women go along with it. Lawsuit was obtained and reported first by TMZ. It says he offered to buy her fake tits during their first interaction, and then he proceeded to pursue her. Soon after, a consensual but abusive relationship began. Well, if it was, which is it? Is it consensual or is it abusive? Because it shouldn't be both. Because a strong woman, like the kind of woman that I know, the kind of woman that I respect, the kind of woman that raised me, the kind of woman that I used to do a radio show with, a really strong, modern, sexually empowered woman could not find herself in a relationship that is both consensual and abusive. You were staying in a relationship because you thought maybe the big famous football player would somehow improve your life. That's what happened here. Was he an asshole to you? Yeah, you're a garbage whore. That's how he sees you. It's not me saying it, but that's how he sees you. He goes to the gym. You're a fucking young hot chick at the gym. He's Shannon Sharp, and he's like, "I'm going to fuck that dumb whore." And guess what? His opening line was, "I'm going to buy you tits." And you're like, then I entered a consensual relationship with him. Fucking take some responsibility here. The report continued. All right. He demanded complete control over her time and body, attorney Tony Busby said. Oh, if you know anything about Tony Busby. He demanded complete control over her time and body. Okay. Wow, that sounds like a demand that she probably shouldn't have been compliant with. When he demanded control over her time and body, why didn't she go, "You're being a weird stalker. I don't want to see you anymore." Oh, but I think there was still something in it for her. So she was like, "I don't know. He's going to leave his wife, and he's very wealthy. And I drive a Honda. And I'd like to drive a Tesla Cybertruck." Please. Tony Busby says, let's see. He demanded complete control over her time and body, expecting her to be at his house, on his schedule, at his command, whenever he called. Yeah, that's how a sugar baby works. This is not a crime. This is something that is happening everywhere all the time. As long as there are 22-year-old hot girls who have rent to pay, there is going to be a 50-year-old single, recently divorced man willing to create an arrangement. This is what she was engaged in. He was demanding. He would say, "I'm horny, get over here and I'll pay your rent." Yeah. That's kind of, and I bet it wasn't that clear either. I bet, that's the unspoken thing, but she knew the game. She knew what was happening here. Oh, and she's a doe, by the way. She's a doe. Her name, her reputation and all that has to be protected. But him, he's going to now have to go sit in front of HR at ESPN and talk about this girl that he hit on with some of the most Neanderthal lines known to man, and that she was like, "Okay." And now he's got trouble because he realized she's a dumb, stupid, gold-digging chick, and he moved on, and now she's filing a lawsuit. Women. And again, Sharp's probably an asshole. Sharp's probably one of these guys who can get laid anytime he wants, and he's got a lot of money, and he's a sexy body. I don't know. Does he? He's kind of ripped, man. He's fucking huge, right? So I don't know what he thinks, but I'm sure out there in the wild, he's got some pretty smooth and pretty confident swag when he's approaching chicks. These guys are out there, and they're pieces of shit. And, they're not looking to get married. They're looking to conquer as many new vaginas as possible. And if you make yourself available and present yourself as an easy target, they're coming for you. And they're not going to leave their wives, okay? When Sharp mistakenly streamed a sexual encounter on Instagram, Remember that? That's what I was telling you about. When Sharp mistakenly streamed a sexual encounter on Instagram, the woman attempted to end their relationship. Instead, she alleged Sharp raped her in October of 2024. She claims Sharp assaulted her again in January of 2025. Okay. I don't remember hearing a police report about Shannon Sharp raping a woman in 2024. If she tried to end the relationship and he responded by raping her, why are we hearing about it now in a civil case? This sounds like fucking jail time stuff. Arrest him then. Put charges. But she didn't. She probably threatened. She didn't. She was raped back in October of 2024. When Sharp mistakenly streamed the sexual encounter on Instagram, the woman attempted to end the relationship. Okay, but then he raped her. At the time of this writing, Sharp has not responded to the allegations. All right, there you have it. There you have it. Shannon Sharp. These guys are incorrigible. They just follow their dick everywhere, and it just gets them into these situations with these women who are gonna ruin their lives. They can't control themselves. All right, let's keep going. There you go, Shannon Sharp. Oh, by the way, this was funny. Yesterday, I was telling you about my newfound love, which is wrestling. I guess I don't know. My son loves wrestling, and so I watched like 5 hours of WrestleMania on Saturday. And I was telling you about this Paul Heyman guy, Paul Heyman, who's the manager who was involved in the three-way fight. It's like all these three fighters: Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins, and CM Punk. They were all like fighting for the attention of Paul Heyman, who's a manager of fighters. And it's just weird. It was a very weird situation. Anyway, I told you about this guy. So Paul Heyman went on Pat McAfee yesterday, which is a ESPN show. And just like hours after the news of Shannon Sharp's thing dropped, Paul Heyman went on Pat McAfee and did this. Hold on, here we go. We can't see it. 3, 2, we don't care. Come on, show me some Paul Heyman. Boom.
Sometimes the truth is so right in front
Here you
of
go.
you that you do these Kennedy assassination conspiracy theories to try to figure out what's really going on. And this is a straight line. And it doesn't take me to point it out to Seth Rollins, and it doesn't take Seth Rollins to point it out to me. We just happen to be two like-minded, like-interested people walking into the main event of WrestleMania and understanding that we both suffered the same fate at the tribal chief Roman Reigns. That Roman Reigns uses everyone in his sight, squeezes the juice out of the fruit till it's not useful anymore, and then discards them, like he did to me. And that CM Punk... See, CM Punk does as much good to my reputation as Shannon Sharp does to ESPN.
Oh, no, jeez. All right, see, all right, we don't need that. A lot going on.
Don't ooh me. I'm not the one getting sued.
Whoa, okay.
Okay.
Whoa.
Okay.
We move along.
There you go. All right, Jack, get out of there. Get out of there. They were not wanting to talk about that in the hours following the big announcement that Shannon Sharp was being sued, and ESPN was also on the hook. Paul Heyman, I love that guy. I just got introduced to him a couple of days ago, and I'm like, that dude is fun. I could do that job. I could be a Paul Heyman in wrestling. All right, let's see here. What else do we got? Here's a weird story from yesterday. We'll just touch on this. How does this happen? See, there were a number of things in this world that I can't be alone in this, but I go through my life and I just assume that everybody is like me on this, and that is things that are just not possible. Like, I'll give you an example. I always use this as my best example. Before that Malaysian airplane just went missing with all these people on it, like before that news was told to me that this actually happened, I would have argued until death that would be an impossibility, that there is no way with modern air travel that any plane, I would have bet everything that we know where every passenger plane is at every moment that it's in the air. And guess what we learned on that day? We learned that we don't. We learned that we don't. There's any number of other examples that I can give you, but man, it is shocking. It's shocking to me the things that I just think could never happen, but then they do. President Trump in Butler, Pennsylvania, standing there on a stage with full Secret Service protection and all of that stuff, and a dude climbs on top of a roof and takes a pot shot. I would have never, in a million years, I would have never thought that was, and there it is. It just happens, and you're like, oh, fuck. I guess I don't know shit about what I'm thinking. So here's another example of that, okay? I would have never thought this was possible. Kristi Noem's purse got snatched. Kristi Noem, the head of, what is she the head of? What is she actually? DHS or something? Department of Humans, whatever. Department of, wait, no, she's not. Wait, what is Kristi Noem? What is she the secretary of? Secretary of looking hot. That's what she is. But whatever she is, she's got Secret Service protection. She is a cabinet secretary in the United States government. She is surrounded and watched at every moment by people with guns who are highly trained to make sure that nobody gets close to her. Well, guess what? Somebody got close enough to steal her fucking purse. Kristi Noem got her purse snatched. This is so fucking weird. What is going on with the Secret Service? How does this happen? Secretary of Homeland Security, there we go. Secretary of Homeland Security Kristi Noem had her purse snatched on Sunday at a restaurant in Washington, D.C., prompting serious questions about, well, security. Yeah, I would have to say, how does anybody steal her purse when she's at a restaurant surrounded by Secret Service? The purse contained, now this is what's fun, all right? We got some fun stuff in this purse. She's not a normal person. The purse contained her driver's license, her passport, her DHS access badge. Okay, that could be a problem. You don't want that out in the wind. The DHS access badge. Checks. Nobody uses checks anymore. That's not a big thing. And over $3,000 in cash. The fuck is she doing? What has she got, gambling debts? What is she doing walking around with $3K plus in cash? She says the reason she had $3,000 in cash is because, well, they were doing Easter stuff and she needed to have cash on hand. Who the fuck needs cash on hand? Okay, you're doing Easter stuff. You don't have a debit card? You know, everything is plastic these days, sweetie. I don't know where you even use cash. Half the time that I'm stuck with cash, I'm like, oh, fuck, does anybody even take cash anymore? She's rolling around with $3,000 in cash. I bet she's not. I bet there wasn't $3,000 in cash. That's the grift move. She's gonna be like, oh yeah, there's nothing real important, like, because it's all insured. And then there's also like $100 million in there that you insurance company are gonna need to replace for me. I don't know what's going on here. $3,000 in cash? Was she buying prostitutes? I mean, what do you pay cash for? Prostitutes? Isn't that like it? I have no idea. Noem is protected by the United States Secret Service, which is reviewing security footage to try and identify a suspect. They don't even have a suspect? All right. I bet you that this wasn't. I bet she lost her purse. I bet she's. I hate to do this, but she's a woman, and women are really tethered to their purses. She probably went to the bathroom. She probably needed to reapply her makeup or some shit. She left it there. She got an important phone call, for Pete Hegseth or something. So she left her purse there, and she walked out, and then she's like, oh, I can't hear you. So then she walked out on the smoker's patio, to talk to Hegseth, and she forgot her purse was in there, and then she went back to her table, and then that's what happened. Nobody got close enough to steal the Secretary of Homeland Security's purse. She fucked up. She lost it, and she's now blaming it. Watch, it'll be a black man. She's like, there was a black teenager that I saw. That's what I think. I don't believe for a minute that anyone got close enough to the Secretary of I don't believe for a minute that somebody who is in the business of stealing purses got close enough to Kristi. I just don't believe it. I think she lost it, and I think she's blaming it on Secret Service because that's kind of what these people are. They're all fucking duplicitous scumbags. All right, speaking of duplicitous scumbags, did you guys see the Kanye tweet from yesterday? Hold on. Kristen Stewart reportedly married her. Can I just tell you, I love that Kristen Stewart's a lesbian. I love that. I think, first of all, I think she's a really cute lesbian. Kristen Stewart, from the Twilight movies. I don't know her from the Twilight movies. I know her from Lady Di. She made a movie where she played Lady Di, and I thought she was really good. So from that moment, I became a Kristen Stewart fan. And now I find that she's a lesbian. And she's one of the good lesbians. What do I mean by good lesbians? Well, I'm still sexually attracted to them, even if they're not to me. That's what I mean by a good lesbian. She seems to have married a woman who is also maybe a good lesbian. I don't know. It was a wedding picture, so she was probably looking her best. But still, congratulations. According to NBC News now, Kristen Stewart has married her lesbian partner. Let's talk about Kanye. Oh my God, you guys. Did you see Kanye's tweet yesterday? Oh. So Kanye's gay now? Kanye's a gay dude? Kanye's like, all right, I just want everybody to know that I sucked my cousin's D for like the first 14 years of my life. Yeah. Here, I'm going to show it to you. Kanye tweeted this out yesterday. He's got a new Kanye song dropping called Cousins. And he dropped a little tweet or something. I don't know, this is a tweet, I guess. He dropped a little something yesterday explaining what the new song Cousin is about. And here's the tweet. All right. He says, this song is called Cousin, about my cousin that's locked in jail for life for killing a pregnant lady a few years after I told him we wouldn't look at dirty magazines together anymore. All right, first of all, let's just break up that first paragraph. Okay, let's do this piece by piece because it's Kanye and he deserves our attention. Kanye says this song is called Cousin, and it's about my cousin who's locked in jail for life for killing a pregnant lady a few years after I told him we wouldn't look at dirty magazines together anymore. What is he trying to do here? Is Kanye trying to suggest that because he told his cousin they weren't going to look at dirty magazines anymore, that drove his cousin to go and kill a pregnant lady? Because that's kind of how it reads to me. He goes on. There's more to this Kanye tweet. He goes on. He says, perhaps, love it. Fancy words there, Kanye. Perhaps in my self-centered mess, I felt it was my fault that I showed him those dirty magazines when he was 6. And then we acted out what we saw. All right, that's paragraph 2. All right, so he's talking about how he and his 6-year-old cousin would find dirty magazines and then reenact what they saw in the dirty magazines. All right, I'm good. I'm moving on. I don't need any more than that. All right, it goes on to say, Kanye now, a tweet from yesterday. It says, my dad had Playboy magazines, but the magazines I found in the top of my mom's closet were different. Yeah, they had dicks. You found mom's dick mags. Kanye's telling us something here. He says, my dad had Playboy, but the magazines I found in the top of my mom's closet were different. I don't believe this. First of all, I don't believe this. Here's what I don't believe. He is trying to draw this picture of his childhood where his mother had, and I'm just going to say Playgirl, right? That's what he's saying. He's in mom's magazines. They were different than dad's magazines. Dad's magazines were Playboy. Mom's magazines were different. Playboy doesn't have dicks. Get it? Okay. So he's trying to say that his mom had Playgirl magazines. No, she didn't. No, that's not a thing. That is a thing that we were led to believe about these magazines that were marketed to women, like Playgirl magazine or whatever. Women never bought pornography, okay? No woman was going out and buying Playgirl magazine, but they couldn't say that because it was the 70s, and they didn't want to admit that 100% of their audience were gay men. Gay men were buying Playgirl magazine in the 70s and in the 80s, and they all just pretended like it was for women. It wasn't. It was a bunch of dicks, and women aren't wired that way, but guys are. So guys want to see dicks or whatever it is that they're into. Women never bought Playgirl magazine. So I'm calling bullshit on this, that Kanye's like, my mom had Playgirl mag. No, she didn't. All right, let's continue. Anyway, Kanye's letting us in on a little something. Whether the details are actually true, I think the overall idea that Kanye likes dick is true. All right, so here we go. My dad had Playboy magazine, but the magazines I found on the top of my mom's closet were different. My name is Yee, and I sucked my cousin's dick till I was 14. Whoa! Whoa! Okay. Didn't really have a super close relationship with my cousin, so this was never on the agenda in my family. I don't think it's a normal thing in families. Sometimes you hear about this. You hear about stories of kids queering off when they're little, and it's like, what are they? But I don't think that's like every kid. Like, I never queered off. That wasn't, I don't think that was. He's trying to make it seem like we were innocent kids, but he's also kind of admitting that he had these he had an interest in seeing his mom's. I don't know what Kanye's saying, but I think he's letting us all know that it goes both ways. All right, there you have it. There you go. Kanye, weird ass tweet. His tweets are the best. I follow Kanye. Do you follow Kanye? If you're not following Kanye, what are you even doing on Twitter? He's like one of the only reasons to still be on Twitter with tweets like that. He's nuts. He's out of his mind. All right, let's see. What else do we have here? We did the Christy Nome. Yeah, I don't want to do this. Larry David and Bill Maher. Are you following this thing? Bill Maher, he accepted an invitation to go to the White House and have dinner with Trump. He went and he had dinner with Trump. Then Bill Maher shows up on his show. Bill Maher talks about how his meeting with Trump was, nice and blah, blah, blah. And, he had a good time. And, he still doesn't. He's not a Trump guy, and he thinks he's a terrible president, but, we have to talk. And that's Bill Maher's whole thing. We have to be able to civilly sit down. And I tend to agree. I tend to agree with the Bill Maher attitude on that whole thing. Simply being willing to talk with people who you deem to be bad. I don't think that makes you complicit in whatever it is. And that's a lot of the stuff that's going on with Bill Maher. Crazy people on the left, me, it's crazy 15% on the left, crazy 15% on the right. These people are nuts. They're coming hard for Bill Maher. And Larry David, who I absolutely love, who I think is one of the great comedic minds of my lifetime. Larry David's mind is just funny. It just thinks funny. Larry David wrote in the New York Times an op-ed. And it was a satire piece. And without ever mentioning Bill Maher, Larry David writes an op-ed in the New York Times titled "My Dinner with Adolf." And it's a fictional account of Larry David's dinner with Adolf Hitler in the summer of 1939. And anyway, it's an interesting read. He's great with satire. It's terrific satire. And again, without ever even mentioning Bill Maher, it is clear that this is Larry David sort of satirizing what Bill Maher did. Okay, so now there's a war. Not much of a war. Yeah, Larry David ain't going to engage in a war. But here's what I will say about it. I read it. It is a tremendously funny piece of satirical writing. Larry David's a great writer. It's a funny read. It's an absurd premise. Larry David wasn't even born in 1939, but the premise is that he's there in the Reichstag or wherever the hell it was, and he's having dinner, and he's met by Goering, and they're joking about things, and it's just a really fun read. Okay, so there you go. So it's a fun read. Do I think it's a fair comparison? I don't. I think that the left and the people who are anti-Trump, and I don't know that I consider myself anti-Trump. I just don't like the guy. I think the guy's a con man. That's it. Does that make me anti-Trump? Okay, maybe, but it doesn't mean that I'm like pro Kamala or whatever. All right. So anyway, moving on. I don't think, even most people who believe that, Trump is bad and that Trump is not the best president for this time and all of that kind of stuff. I don't think even most of those people would compare Trump to Hitler. I mean, we know what Hitler did. Hitler tried to take over Europe, and he had camps, and he was gassing people, and he had the final solution, which was made public. People knew what his game plan was. That's not... I mean, Trump might be an asshole. Trump might be a con man. Trump might not be worthy of the position of president of the United States. Those are all valid criticisms you can have for the guy. He's a convicted felon. Okay, so there's that. But he's not Hitler. I mean, my dinner with Adolf. Get it? It's just like my dinner with Trump. No, it's not, man. but I get it. You're doing it for satire and you're doing it for humor. And so in that regard, I understand. But again, whatever. Larry David and Bill Maher kind of going at it. But Larry David's not going directly at Maher. Larry David's engaging in what he's good at. Satire, comedy writing. We will wait and see how Bill Maher responds. All right, here. How about this? Let me show you this. This is pretty cool. Now, you've probably seen this because it was going around. I saw it yesterday. As soon as the show ended yesterday, I saw this and I went, no way. This is the wildest piece of viral video. But since then, since seeing it yesterday at like, I don't know, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the afternoon, I've seen it everywhere. It's gone everywhere. So you've probably seen it by now. But holy crap, watch this. Did you see this? So apparently twins in Australia got carjacked and they were put on the news. And the news reporter was like talking to him, like, tell us about the carjacking. And these Australian twins did the weirdest damn thing. All right, check this out. This is crazy.
Witnesses are recounting some of the drama that unfolded on the Sunshine Coast this afternoon. 2 sisters have told how their mother and man raced to help when the carjacked SUV rolled on Steve Irwin Way, only to find the gun-wielding car thief emerging from the wreck. Here's some of what they had to say.
And
all right, here you go.
He was up there with our mum, and he went up there and he was coming back down towards us, and he goes, run.
Okay, can we just, you get what's happening here, right? These are twins. These are old lady twins. They're dressed in identical, it looks like hospital scrubs. Are they nurses? Are they pediatric nurses? Were they on their way to work, Easter Sunday in the pediatric ward? This is bizarre. They look alike, they dress alike, and they have the exact same retelling of the story. Let's keep watching.
Got a gun. And our heart started to pound, and I said, oh, Mum, where's Mum? And poor Mum was stuck up there, but apparently our brave Mum, she goes, are you all right? Because he had all blood all over his face. And he goes, I'll shoot you. She goes, hey, I'm here to help.
And Mum distracted him to make him look the other way, and he looked the other way, and Mum ran
into the bush behind the fence. And the guy goes to her, I'll find you and I'll shoot you. All I was thinking about when we were running, I hope he doesn't fire. Yeah, we were so blessed.
How close to him do you think you were?
Well, see, he was up there, and we were past our
when you
driveway. Yeah.
All right, there you go. That is the weirdest set of twins. That is wild. How do they do that? Sorry, wrong one. How? Very creepy. All right, there you go. A couple of crazy Aussie twins. I'm glad that everything worked out for them. They weren't murdered by the carjacking that occurred there, but boy, oh boy. I'd like to hear them. I'd like to hear them do a podcast just where they tell the same story at the same time. That would be fun. Let's see. What else do I have? Oh, a new trailer was released. Oh, this looks like a lot of fun. Okay, so you guys know that I'm a big fan of the TV show Succession, right? The TV show Succession, HBO. It's tremendous. If you've never seen Succession, I have. Ooh, boy, am I jealous, because you now have, 3 or 4 seasons that you can just binge. And I didn't get to do that with Succession. I had to wait week to week. God, Succession is great. Jesse Armstrong is the creator of Succession. Jesse Armstrong, Frank Rich, somebody else too. I don't know. Anyway, they're involved in this. Anyway, what are the people, the team behind Succession doing now? Well, they still have a contract with HBO, so they've got a new movie. This is going to be debuting on HBO Max, I think, at the end of May. The first trailer for this new movie, Mountainhead, from the creators of Succession, has been released. Now, I want to tell you what Mountainhead is. Mountainhead is the story of 4 or 5, I'm not sure, 4 or 5 of the world's wealthiest men. So again, this comes from the people from Succession, right? So this is so think Bezos, Musk, I don't know who else, whatever. 4 or 5 of the world's the Google people, most powerful people. And they're all young, not young, but 30s, 40s, whatever, tech kind of titans. And they're all good friends, and they get together for like a little bros weekend. at the top of Mountain Head. Mountain Head is where they go. It's like in the middle of nowhere. They're a bunch of super billionaires. They're going to be racing snowmobiles and having fun and basically just hanging out the way these billionaires do. Okay, so that's the story. Now, while these like 5 super billionaires are all off in the mountains doing their mountain thing, the world falls apart. Okay, so that's the premise of the movie. These 5 billionaires, again, based on all the ones we know, Elon Musk, Bezos, Sergey Brin, all of these people, that's what these characters are based on. They're together in their ski, I don't know, it's like Superman's Fortress of Solitude, or they're together there having a bros weekend while the whole world begins to fall apart. Again, it's the new film from Jesse Armstrong and the team behind Succession. Here it is. It's called Mountain Head. Looks really good.
Your first guest has arrived. Oh, cool, great.
Oh, Jeffrey. The roosters are crowing. Yeah.
Yes, so it begins. There he is.
Look at you, the richest guy in the world.
Yeah, but have you seen what your net worth is doing?
Oh,
Yeah, your platform is racist and shitty.
Let's go to commercial. 4 presidents of tech here on Mount Techcore.
You guys getting this? Panic buying and violence?
This is a serious moment. I think that is why I am so excited about these atrocities. I'm thinking about all of the people who are not killing each other. Nations are teetering, both politically and economically.
The president wants to speak to us.
the prez. Like, what could he possibly have said?
That your platform's inflamed a volatile situation, circulating unfalsifiable deep fakes, massive fraud, market instability.
Just in terms of catering and poker, are we still imagining we're going to play? Because I have a 6-man line caught turbot.
Gotta tell you, I'm all in. That looks great. Jesse Armstrong has earned my faith. I will see anything that Jesse Armstrong does. Mountain Head, new movie coming to HBO. Looks like a lot of fun in the scariest, most apocalyptic way. One more time, I want to thank you all. I want to invite you. That's what I want to do. Trash trivia tonight. Show's over. Show's over. I'm running out of gas here. Can you guys tell? Tonight, 7 o'clock, I'll be up there. Game start about 7:30. Trash trivia, all kinds of prizes for winners. And, well, basically everybody who shows up gets a prize. That's how I look at it because there's a whole bunch of stuff. So come on, come all. Trash trivia, 4060 Beltline Road, the back 9. Oh, do I have questions? Let me put my questions. We're going to be doing 2 rounds of trivia today. Should I tell you what the categories are? Yeah, I'll give you that. I'll give you a little bit of a heads up on the categories. Let's see. Where are my categories for tonight? 2 rounds, 4 categories per round. Okay, that's tonight for trivia. Come on, open up. All right. In round 1, the first category is going to be current events. All right, so if you listen to this show, it's going to be all stuff that, I've talked about here on this show. Round 1, category 2, we're going to do television, but specifically television from the 2000s. That's right. 2000s television trivia. Category 2 in round 1. Category 3 in round 1 tonight at Trash Trivia will be a little something for the nerds. That's right. A little something for the nerds. These are all going to be science and smart piece questions. A little something for the nerds. Category 3 in round 1 of trivia tonight. All right, and category 4 in round 1 will be pop culture. Just pop culture stuff. Shit that you should know just from being a human being growing up in this country over the course of the last, 20, 30 years. Round 2. Category 1. Animal trivia. Yeah, we got questions about animals. You're going to have to tell us what, I'm going to ask you a question. You're going to tell me, what animal am I talking about? Category 2. Modern TV. That's right. The first round was 2000s TV. Those are shows that aired in this country between the year 2000 and the year 2010. Trivia questions will be specific to that dateline. Category here, category 2 in round 2, modern TV. All shit that's currently in production. All stuff. What are you watching? All right, there you go. And category 3, dad rock. Yeah, dad rock category. Category 3, round 2. All questions about your dad, or if you are a dad, all questions about your favorite dad rock bands. It's category 3. And then finally, category 4 in round 2 is food. Food. Questions about food. There you go. All right, those are the categories. So prep accordingly. We'll see you out there at 7 o'clock tonight. That's the back 9, 4060 Beltline Road in beautiful swinging downtown Addison, Texas. Come one, come all. We start the trivia about 7:30, but I'd say get there about 7. All right, thank you, folks. That's it. Those are our categories. What else can I say? Oh yeah, support the show. There you go. We'll push that out there one more time. Help the show if you can. Drop a little something in the Venmo or the Cash App, and that's it. Other than that, we'll be back tomorrow. Tomorrow's probably going to be a 1 o'clock start. Tomorrow, 1 o'clock start, or maybe noon. Maybe noon. I got something tomorrow at 11:30, so that might fall through. If it falls through, noon start. If not, 1 o'clock start. 1 o'clock. All right. That's going to be it. I love you guys. We'll see you out there tonight, back 9, back here tomorrow, noon or 1, not sure. Like, follow, subscribe, do all that kind of stuff. Support the show, all of that. Love you. Bye.